Good evening and welcome to the Gwinnett County Board of Commissioners 7 p.m. public hearing for August 26, 2025. I'll call a meeting to order at this time. And for those of you who are here in the audience, I'd ask you to double check your phone or other electronic communications devices. Make sure they're set on silent or turned off completely. And before we begin, please join us for a moment of silence for each of us to privately pray and reflect on our lives, families, colleagues, and community, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance led by District 3 Commissioner Jasper Watkins. And if you are able, please stand.
Now for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. I would like to remind everyone that our commission meetings are aired live on TV Gwinnett, your government access cable channel, Facebook Live, and online at gwinnettcounty.com. Today's tape meeting will air on TV Gwinnett beginning this Thursday at 7 p.m. and again on Sunday at noon. The meeting will also be available on demand through the Gwinnett County website. I'd also like to let our residents know how they can find information about proposed and requested rezoning items in the future. Detailed rezoning information can be obtained on the county website by visiting gczoning.com. At this point in our meeting, it's our practice to share announcements and highlight community events around the county. I will go ahead and kick us off. First, a reminder that all Gwinnett County government offices, apart from operations required for the comfort and safety of residents, will be closed on Monday, September 1st, in observance of the Labor Day holiday, and will resume regular working hours on Tuesday, September 2nd. A magistrate judge will be available at the Gwinnett County Detention Center throughout the holiday. Trash and recycling collection will be delayed by 1 day during the holiday week. For more information, you can visit gcsolidwaste.com. Also, I want to thank the community leaders who joined last Wednesday's Gwinnett Communities Now open house. This was held at Rose Jordan Park. If you couldn't make it or want to continue the conversation, we hope you'll join the next event, which will be hosted on Tuesday, September 16th from 5 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. at the Gwinnett Community Resource Center at Bethany Church Road in Snellville. At this event, you can share feedback on upcoming projects, learn about county services, and connect with peers. To learn more, you can visit gwinnettcounty.com/communitiesnow. And that concludes my announcements. And with that, I will turn it over to Commissioner Cardin to share announcements in District 1.
First, I want to say thank you to those that came out to my last Cardin Connects event that took place this last Friday at Alchemist on the Divide in downtown Duluth. Me and county staff used this opportunity to have a casual event to chat with residents throughout District 1 over good coffee and snacks. So also thanks to the staff for hosting us that Friday morning. To stay informed about the next Cardin Connects event, future town halls, and other events, please sign up for my newsletter at gwinnettcounty.com/District1News. Second, do we have any chess players in the house? Any chess players? My grandmother taught me how to play chess years ago. I haven't played, but you have an opportunity to dust off your skills. Whether you're a seasoned player or you have no experience at all, you're invited to join the free Gwinnett Chess Club. All ages and skill levels are welcome to join. This event will take place Saturday, August 30th from 9:30 a.m. to 1 o'clock p.m. at Pygmyville Park Community Center, a recreation center in Norcross. To learn more about this event and others, visit GwinnettParks.com. And then lastly, join Gwinnett Economic Development for a Waffles and Workshop event Tuesday, September 9th from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. at Gwinnett Technical College at the Lawrenceville campus. This event will focus on the employer side and will provide insight on tackling some of today's workforce challenges. Breakfast will be provided. That concludes it for me.
Very well. Commissioner Koo, what announcements do we have in District 2?
Thank you, Madam Chairwoman. A reminder about the upcoming Norcross to Lilburn multi-use trail study meeting. This project aims to create a new pedestrian and bike path across I-85 to improve safety and connectivity, and your input is vital. Join to share your feedback tomorrow, August 27th from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. at the Norcross Senior Center. If you are unable to attend, you can still provide your feedback online using our interactive map tool. Find out more at gwinnettcounty.com. Also, for families looking to keep their children engaged in sports, art, and after-school learning, I highly recommend exploring the Building Brains after-school program. This is an accessible option for many, as qualified families may be able to enroll their children at little to no cost. To learn more about how Building Brains after school can benefit your child, please visit b2anywhere.com or email b2anywhere@gwinnettcounty.com. And that's what's new in District 2.
Very well. Commissioner Watkins, what announcements do we have in District 3?
Yes, Madam Chair. First, I want to thank everyone who joined my millage rate town hall last night. We were able to speak openly about how the millage rate impacts residents, and representatives from the tax assessor's office and the Department of Financial Services were on hand to answer questions. In addition to the millage rate discussion, I was able to provide updates on a variety of county topics, including crime statistics, community service, land use, and much more. For those who couldn't attend, the event is streamed live, and you can review it on demand at tvgwinnett.com. You can also find out more information about millage rate and property taxes at gwinnettcounty.com. Look, we are all here to meet with you one-on-one when needed. But I encourage you to come to our town halls, conversations, and even our gatherings, because that's where you hear the full picture. You learn from your neighbors, and it also makes sure that your voice is part of the community's conversation. So I implore you, please come when we're out there, because we're vibrantly connected, but we can't just do it alone. We need your help. Secondly, also, you're invited to eat healthy for free at Harvest Gwinnett's new series, Harvest to Table. Discover a new delicious recipe during special food demonstrations hosted in a garden, where healthy and free meals will be prepared using fresh, seasonal ingredients. The next event is open to all ages and will be held Saturday, August 30th from 11 a.m. to noon at the Grayson Community Garden. For more information and to register, visit gwinnettparks.com. And that's all I have, Madam Chair.
Excellent. Commissioner Holcamp, what announcements do we have in District 4?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Join a relaxing morning with a peaceful tram ride and a refreshing cup of tea at the Gwinnett Environmental and Heritage Center. Enjoy an open-air tram ride through our beautiful trails, followed by a tour of Gwinnett's first LEED certified building to learn what it takes to make the center so eco-friendly. This Tea and Tram Tuesday event for residents ages 50 and up will be held on Tuesday, September 2nd from 9 to 11 a.m. Light refreshments will be provided at the cost of $5 for Gwinnett residents. Learn more at gwinnettparks.com. Also, I want to invite the entire community to attend the upcoming 4-H Farm Friends exhibit coming to the Gwinnett County Fair from Thursday, September 11th to Sunday, September 21st. Located in the Big Red Barn at the Gwinnett County Fairgrounds, this hands-on experience is open to all ages. Attendees can enjoy a close-up look at farm animals like rabbits, goats, and sheep, and participate in activities such as milking a wooden cow. Imagine that. Times and prices for the event vary, so it depends on how much milk you can get out of that wood. Learn more at gwinnettcounty.com. Thank you.
All right, all good announcements happening all over. With that, we will move right along with our agenda. May I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the agenda. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, the agenda is approved. I'd now like to ask for an approval of the minutes from the board's August 19th meetings. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve the minutes. Are there any additions or corrections? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, the minutes are approved. along with our agenda, moving right along, we have one special presentation on our agenda this evening. Mr. Andrew Corba of our Communications Department will read us some instructions.
For tonight's presentation, I'd like to invite Gwinnett Youth Commissioner Brianna Kodrescu to the front of the room. Brianna will share an update on her work as part of the Youth Commission.
Good evening, Board of Commissioners and fellow Gwinnetians. My name is Brianna Kodrescu, and I am speaking on behalf of the 2025 to 2026 cohort of the Gwinnett Youth Commission, a group of young leaders who have spent the last few months learning about local government. This past May, 10th, 11th, and 12th graders from Gwinnett County had the opportunity to apply to Gwinnett Youth Commission, GYC. The application was rigorous, with multiple written responses and a teacher recommendation. From those 110 of us that applied, only 30 of us were selected to participate in the program. We met twice a week for the duration of nearly the entire summer, and the program was truly eye-opening. We sat face-to-face with the very people who run this county, from firefighters and police officers to court judges and attorneys, to even Ms. Nicole Hendrickson and Mr. Ben Koo themselves. We learned how every single department, every leader, every system connects back to us, the community. And suddenly, the word Gwinnett wasn't just a place we lived in, it was a place we belonged to. I can speak for myself, and I'm sure many others, when I say that I didn't fully understand why Gwinnett was such a big deal to begin with. I mean, I knew it was one of the best counties in the nation, but why? We saw firsthand the diversity, the cohesion, and just how much thought and effort goes into every single decision made and legislation passed. And of course, we're still kids at the end of the day. In between the learning, we played countless games of charades, Jeopardy, and some of the most competitive games of Uno I have ever seen. We built friendships and connections to last. On behalf of the 2025 to 2026 cohort, I would like to thank the Board of Commissioners for their support of the Youth Commission and the Gwinnett County citizens whose investment in this program is shaping a future where the youth is not only involved, but informed. Thank you.
Excellent. Good job, Brianna. I have a question for you. Yeah. So, Brianna, you've spent all summer with your counterparts in the Youth Commission. Do you want to introduce your peers who are here today, since they also took the evening out to be here?
Yeah, of course. So, can they come up?
Yes. Come on.
So, this is Caroline. She was elected as our youth chair.
Hi, I'm Caroline. Nice to meet you all.
Good to meet you.
And then Batanya, who was elected for service chair.
Hi, my name is Batanya.
Hi.
Julissa for secretary. Yeah.
Everybody.
And then Joanna for
Special projects.
special projects. Yeah.
All right. So,
So-
these are the board officers.
Yeah, we were elected by the rest of the commission.
Excellent. So, of this summer, what would you say was your most memorable experience, and what are you most looking forward to?
I think mine is a little bit odd, but I really enjoyed when we went to the Department of Transportation, because turns out there's a lot of thought and effort that goes into even just the stoplights and the street signs. And I think seeing that really encouraged me to sort of look in the community more, like when I'm driving or when I'm going somewhere, to pay attention to sort of how Gwinnett shapes its identity. And I think like from here on out, it's really nice to see Gwinnett and then of course compare it to other counties and see sort of what we're excelling in.
Excellent. Does anyone else want to share?
I can go forward. I would say my favorite part of this program was being able to visit the fire department and being able to talk to paramedics, because I want to go into a field with medicine. So it was really interesting seeing the vast opportunities that Gwinnett County provides.
Excellent. All right. One more.
I'd like to share my experience at a luncheon that we had here at GJAC once, and that luncheon really opened my eyes to all the amazing county leaders we have here in Gwinnett, and it was just a room I never imagined being in as a first-generation student, so having that opportunity to talk with great leaders in the county was a very rewarding experience.
Excellent. Well, congratulations to each of you. We look forward to hearing from you. You'll be back once a month to give the Youth Commission minutes, so we look forward to hearing your progress and all the updates on the things that you're working on. And once again, congratulations.
Thank you.
Also, shout out to staff for continuing the legacy of an exceptional outreach program. You all do such a wonderful job. So Good job keeping that program alive and well. All right, now it is time to move into the public hearing portion of our meeting. But before we begin tonight's public hearing business, I have a few things that I need to read into the record. In order to help everyone have an equal opportunity to be heard and minimize distractions for the audience and participants, I'd ask again to please silence or turn off all of your portable communications devices. I would like to remind those present that this is an official public meeting at which important business is conducted. The Law Department has advised commissioners that audience outbursts, including applause, have been used by the courts to overturn zoning decisions. Therefore, I ask that you refrain from applause and all other extraneous remarks, and I ask your cooperation to maintain an orderly meeting. Should you have the opportunity to come to the microphone to make a comment in support or opposition to any of the requests before us, I ask that you take a seat toward the front of the auditorium before that item you wish to address occurs on the agenda. When you come to the podium to speak, please remember to state your name and address for the public record. In addition, any maps, photos, or other items that you place on the table in front of the podium can be seen by commissioners on monitors here on the dais, as well as by everyone on the big screen above us. Our clerk, who is to my left, will be watching the time. There will be 10 minutes for the presentation in support and 10 minutes in opposition. If commissioners ask questions of you during that process, it will not take away from your presentation time, and the clerk will adjust for it. I appreciate you all helping us with that, and we'll move right along into the meeting. And before we hear the cases, we will allow commissioners to table any items that they do not wish to discuss this evening. That way, if you are here for those items, you do not have to stay with us into the evening if you did not wish to. And with that, I'll turn it over to Commissioner Cardin first to see if he has any items to table, but I doubt it because he has no items on the agenda. Am I correct in saying that?
That's correct.
Okay. So with that, we will move to Commissioner Koo. Any items you wish to table?
No, ma'am.
Commissioner Watkins?
No, ma'am.
Commissioner Holtcamp?
I have no cases in
You have
my
no
district
cases
tonight.
either. All right, we have a very light agenda today, so we will be hearing cases from District 2 and District 3. So with that, we will go into the new business items, beginning with the special use permit, starting at the bottom of page 1. Mr. Corbel will read the agenda items. I will ask for a staff presentation, a presentation from the applicant, and information from those who are here in opposition. I'll then close out the public hearing on each item and call for a motion. And with that, please read that first item into the record.
2025-866, SUP 2025-12, applicant Asphalt Mbe, care of Genuine Mapping and Design, owner Asphalt Mbe, 4934 Stone Mountain Highway, special use permit with concurrent variances in a C2 zoning district for a vehicle repair and service establishment, 1.65 acres, District 2, Commissioner Koo.
Is the applicant here for this request? Okay. Is there opposition? Okay, Ms. Chen will give us background on the case, and then we'll invite the applicant up to speak.
The special use permit request is for a vehicle repair and service establishment on 1.65 acre portion of a site along Stone Mountain Highway. The proposal contains a 5,200 square foot building with 9 bays and 26 parking spaces. Although the Unified Plan identifies neighborhood low mix for the subject site, which doesn't envision auto-oriented commercial uses, the proposal is consistent with existing commercial uses along Stone Mountain Highway, including auto-oriented businesses. In addition, the applicant is requesting 3 variances regarding parking locations, interparcel access, and a zoning buffer. Staff recommends approval with conditions of the special use permit and the parking location variance and denial of the remaining. The Planning Commission recommends approval with conditions of the special use permit, the parking location, the zoning buffer variances, and denying of the interparcel access variance.
Thank you.
Good evening. Eric Johansson, 3938 Oak Crossing Drive, Swanee, Georgia, 30024. Here tonight assisting Genuine Mapping and Design and Dr. Ambe with this special use permit request. I want to explain the whole project first before we get into the special use permit request. This building right here is a proposed dentist office that Dr. Ambe wants to open up as his second dental practice. His current practice right now is in the city of Decatur. He lives over in the Norcross area and has been an active member of the community since he's been here. He bought this property as an investment back in October of 23. And when he bought it as an investment, he always envisioned his dental office there. But he reached out, and he has a prospective tenant in Christian Brothers Automotive that wants to put their automotive building here. The architecture they turned in for the building it meets the overlay standard. It's primarily a brick building that would go in. The way the property is oriented, it forces one of the buildings to turn in, and the building that makes the most sense to turn inward would be the automotive business, so that the garage doors are facing inward to the site. And given that you turn in the building inside, it puts us in a predicament where we have parking on the side of the building, because Gwinnett County defines the front of the building as the part facing the front building setback over here. So the front of the building is really just the office and the entry where customers go in, and the side of the buildings where all the action would take place on an automotive building going in. The property is zoned C2. The dental office is a use by right in C2, so it's not anything that we're here tonight asking permission for. It did require us to go to the Zoning Board of Appeals meeting for the same parking on the side, parking in the rear, and the 25-foot regraded, replanted setback that we asked for on this special use permit. We were approved at the Zoning Board of Appeals meeting 2 weeks ago for the request that we asked for, and the buffer limited to the dental office is literally from that line right there to right there, so it's the smallest portion of the site. It's a Tires Plus is a use that's next door, and the Chevron's next door there. The Chevron used to be the old Quick Trip that moved up the street when they relocated. So when we originally asked about this request in the site plan we turned in, there was a driveway proposed on this side, not on the other side. It was on this side. And we met with DOT. And when we met with DOT District 1, Jonathan Peavy, the district engineer, he really didn't like the location of that driveway, because even though you're not supposed to jump across all the lanes of traffic, everybody does when they're on right-ins, right-out. They try to get across to the turn lane. So the term they use in District 1 is lane jumpers, and lane jumpers would cause people to go across 2 lanes to get to the turn lane with a very short throat. So one of the first things that when I got involved with the project I suggested doing when we met with Jonathan was move the driveway to the far left end of the site. I have an email from Jonathan that supports the driveway being in the most safe and practical position, were the words he used, which would be on the far left end of the site. And there's also a condition recommended by the Planning Commission that any access onto Stone Mountain Highway is subject to the approval of GDOT. So I have that email. I can provide it to staff if needed. The second thing that we were asking for in the variances was to eliminate interparcel access both on the Chevron side and the Discount Tire side. On the Discount Tire side, it's not what we're here for tonight, but it's integral to the site. There's a 6-foot grade change, and when we met with the property owner there at the community meeting, he's not very supportive of interparcel access because it's a competing business to Christian Brothers. So he really didn't want to see any automotive traffic coming through his parking lot to get to our parking lot. There's also a grade change when you move the driveway over there, where it makes it impractical. On the Chevron side, there is a 25-foot access easement that was platted on that site when the Quick Trip was in there. The driveway we've got going in is 24 feet face to face, so it's 25 feet back of curb to back of curb, and he literally told us that he's not granting a temporary construction easement, and he wants nobody standing on his property while they're constructing that driveway. So it's physically impossible to create the interparcel access at the point designated on the site. At the Planning Commission meeting, it was recommended for denial, which we accept because the way it was explained to us with staff, we can provide interparcel access from our site to the rear of the site, where we've got this fire department turnaround right here, which there could be access provided to the future growth if anything happens over here. So we meet the intent of providing interparcel access on the special use permit side. And with respect to the 25-foot regraded, replanted buffer versus the 75-foot buffer, I think we qualify based on what variance criteria is. We have an odd-shaped piece of property. We have topography that goes straight up a hill. And the site was previously cleared prior to the ownership of Dr. Ambe on the site. He bought the site in October of 23. The site was already devoid of vegetation at that point. A community member spoke at the Zoning Board of Appeals meeting and said in September of 24, she witnessed trucks on the site. I have an email affidavit from the owner. In September of 24, what happened was that property used to be used for a gravestone, headstone marble company, and it was all run out of this building right here. There's 4 curb cuts on the site, and they stored marble slabs all over the site. So when Dr. Ambe bought the site, he bought the site with the remaining gravestones that were on the site that hadn't been carved up yet, but just the big marble slabs. He had a gentleman approach him that wanted to acquire those marble slabs, which he needed to get them off his property. Well, to do so, they were covered with invasive growth all over the site, because when it was devoid of vegetation, everything that came back up was just the native plants and grasses that were out there. So they were out there on a weekend, and they were bush hogging and weed whacking and cutting things down. There may have been some scrubby trees that got cut down, but they weren't cutting down buffer trees, because the buffer trees were already removed off the site. Prior to that, in January of 24, a dirt broker came onto his site and just started dumping dirt. She approached him one day to see if he needed dirt on his site, and he said, "I need to talk to my brother." He talked to his brother, but he never got back to her. Well, she just showed up and started dumping dirt. So he called the police. There should be a police record in January of 24. And when the police came out there, she agreed to remove the dirt off the site. She removed the dirt off the site. He didn't want to press charges for getting the dirt off the site because it was a misunderstanding. So the 2 incidents that had anything to do with equipment on the site had nothing to do with the property owner doing something illegal on his site. It had to do with 2 other incidences with people out there. What he wants to do right now is close down all 4 curb cuts that are already on the site across there, build one point of ingress and egress, connect his 2 proposed parcels together, put his second dentist office in, and put a 4-sided brick building in there so he can lease it out to Christian Brothers Automotive. The buffer that will go in will take all the topsoil and all the other dirt on the site. We can build up about a 3 to 5 foot berm throughout the perimeter of the site. And what we propose to do is plant 2 rows of evergreen trees, 8 to 10 feet tall, 15-foot centers, staggered, Thuga green giants, cryptomerias, southern magnolias, treeform hollies, the good buffer that gives you both a visual and an acoustical buffer versus the mature trees that would have been out there that were 40 and 50 feet up in the air that didn't provide any buffering at the pedestrian level. Be happy to answer any questions, and respectfully ask for your support on this.
Questions?
I have a question for staff. I noticed that the plan here has that driveway on the left, but the one in the staff report has the driveway on the right. The condition that Planning Commission had with the site plan updated date, is that referring to this one or the one that's in the package?
So whenever a new site plan is presented to the Planning Commission, we add that to the back of the packet. So it's in the very back, so it's reflected in the record.
That's it.
Any other questions? All right, and I'll ask if there's anyone. You can give it to our clerk, Eric. Clerk, thank you. And if there's anyone here in opposition, I'll ask again. All right, seeing none, I will close out the public hearing for this case and ask for a motion.
Madam Chair, I move to approve SUP 2025-12 with the Planning Commission recommended conditions and variance approvals and denials, as the Planning Commission has stated, with the following additional conditions. Condition 6, a maximum 5-foot tall berm shall be provided outside of the 25-foot wide landscaped buffer, subject to the review and approval of the Department of Planning and Development. And condition 7, the special use shall be valid for a 3-year period, at which time the use shall cease, or an application shall be made for renewal of the special use permit. And there ends my motion.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve this item with the Planning Commission recommended conditions with the added conditions noted by Commissioner Koo. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? And that motion carries. That's unanimous. Thank you very much. That brings us to the top of page 2. We have our next item, if you can read that into the record.
2025-852, SUP 2025-13, applicant Michael Ayo, owner Bernardino de Almeida, 4139 Arcadia Industrial Circle, special use permit in an M1 zoning district for a vehicle repair, service and bodywork establishment, 1 acre, District 2, Commissioner Koo.
Is the applicant here for this request? Okay, if you can make your way down. Is there opposition? All right, seeing none, Ms. Chen will give us background on this case, and then we'll ask the applicant to come up.
The special use permit renewal request is to allow the continuation of existing vehicle repair, service, and bodywork establishment along Acadia Industrial Circle. A special use permit was originally approved in 2018, and 2 renewals were approved in 2021 and 2023. There are several vehicle repair, service, and bodywork establishments nearby. The Unified Plan indicates suburban non-residential for the subject site, and auto-oriented commercial is recommended use. Staff and the Planning Commission recommend approval with conditions. Since there haven't been any code enforcement complaints, no sunset provision is included.
Thank you, Ms. Chen.
Good evening, Board of Commissioners. Good evening, Madam Chair. My name is Michael Ayo, and I reside at 3640 Drayton Manor, Ron, right here in Lawrenceville. Zip is 30046. And I'm speaking on about the auto repair shop that is mentioned in the at SUP 00013. It's an auto repair shop belonging to Mr. Damedia, Bernardino Damedia, that's his name. He's here with me. It's an auto repair facility. He has operated it for quite some years now. He has no code violations for at least 3 years. There are no complaints, or he has no summons. There are no issues whatsoever. He operates his business peacefully and pleasing to the whole neighborhood. By the way, the whole area there is punctuated with the same kind of business, auto repair business in the area. Again, he has operated it in good faith, and he maintains good rapport with his neighbors and the government. A major point that was pointed to us, by the way, the location of the facilities is as shown, and during the last hearing, it was pointed to us that a portion of the fence, a portion of the fence here extends to the right of way, and we have addressed it. We have removed that portion that's outside his property. And it's as shown in this new photo. The jutting portion that extends to the right of way has been removed, and it's all clear. So I hereby request the commissioners to please approve our request.
Any questions? All right, if there are no questions, I will close out the public hearing for this case and ask for a motion.
Madam Chair, I move to approve SUP 2025-13 with the Planning Commission recommended conditions.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve this item with the Planning Commission recommending conditions. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, and that motion carries. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you, Madam Chair.
You are welcome. That brings us to our rezoning items in the middle of page 2. If you will read that first item into the record.
2025-867, REZ 2025-16, applicant Reliant Homes, Georgia, LLC, care of Mahaffey Pickens Tucker, LLP, owner 3235 Langley Investment, LLC, rezoning with concurrent variance of 3235 Langley Road, MH to RTH for townhouses, 14.36 acres, District 3, Commissioner Watkins.
Okay, I see the applicant is here. Is there opposition? All right, Ms. Chen will give us background on the case, and then we'll hear from the applicant.
The rezoning request from MH to RTH is for a townhouse subdivision at the intersection of Athens Highway and Lanley Road. The proposal includes 129 townhouses on 14.36 acres at a density of 8.98 units per acre. Staff and the Planning Commission recommend approval with conditions. The applicant is requesting denial without prejudice.
Thank you very much.
Good evening. My name is Gabrielle Shaler, 1550 North Brown Road, Suite 125 in Lawrenceville. I'm here on behalf of the applicant, and as staff stated, after further review, the applicant has determined that they no longer desire to pursue this project at the time, and so we respectfully request that you deny the application without prejudice, and I will be here to answer any questions.
Any questions? All right, with that, I'll close out the public hearing for this case and ask for a motion.
Madam Chair, I make a motion to deny without prejudice REZ 2025-00016.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to deny without prejudice. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? That motion carries. Next item, please.
2025-868, REZ 2025-17, applicant Dynamic Investment and Holdings, LLC, care of LJA Engineering, Inc., owner Hong An 2, rezoning of 94, 100, 110, and the 100 block of Harmony Grove Road, R75 and RA 200 to R60 for a single-family detached subdivision, 12.61 acres, District 2, Commissioner Koop.
Is the applicant, I see the applicant is here. Is there opposition? All right, Ms. Chen will give us background on the case, and then we'll hear from the applicant.
The rezoning request from R75 and RA 200 to R60 is for a single-family detached subdivision along Harmony Grove Road. The proposal includes 15 single-family detached residences on 12.61 acres at a density of 1.19 units per acre. The proposal is compatible with surrounding residential subdivisions. The unified plan indicates suburban residential for the subject site. Single-family detached is recommended land use, and R60 is recommended zoning district. The proposal is in conformity with the policy and intent of the unified plan. The applicant is also requesting 3 waivers regarding interparcel access, street radiance, and sidewalk along a portion of Harmony Grove Road. Staff and the Planning Commission recommend approval with conditions.
Thank you, Ms. Chen.
All right. Hey, good evening. Tyler Lasser with LJA Engineering, 299 South Main Street in Alpharetta. Here tonight on behalf of the applicant, Dynamic Investment and Holdings, LLC, who is requesting to rezone the subject site from RA 200 and R75 to R60. As you can see, this is an assemblage of 4 parcels located on Harmony Grove Road. It is adjacent to other single-family subdivisions, including the Harmony Point subdivision, which is to the north. That's a 17-lot subdivision with a density of approximately 2.59 units per acre. The property also borders a 100-foot wide railroad right-of-way to the south, and on the other side of that railroad, if you will, there's an existing convenience store, an office warehouse type of development, as well as Harmony Grove Park. As proposed, this would be a 15-lot subdivision, which is a density of 1.19 units per acre, which of course is less than the 2 adjacent subdivisions. Initially, we had 17 lots when we presented this at our public participation meeting. However, through those conversations, we had agreed to widen each of the lots adjacent to the Harmony Point subdivision, which is zoned R75. So we widened those to the R75 standard and also provided a privacy fence along that property line as well. In that process, we did lose 2 lots, so we're down to 15. And now only 6 of the 15 lots throughout the development are 60 feet wide, which is that the R60 standard. 7 of the lots are 75 feet wide, one's 73 feet wide, and one is 83. And then throughout the development, every lot actually exceeds the minimum lot size requirement for R60. And as you can see on our lot size chart on our site plan, they actually exceed by quite a bit. So they're relatively large lots. Overall, there will be about 57% of the site dedicated to open space, which includes that usable open space areas such as the park with the trails at the rear of the development, as well as the pocket park near the entrance. And then, of course, there's a large portion of environmentally sensitive areas which will remain undisturbed for the most part. Other site improvements will include the 10-feet landscape strip along the road frontage, parallel parking spots along the internal street near the mail kiosk, sidewalks, and a stormwater management pond. I'll show you the renderings if you haven't seen them already. This is generally what the homes would look like. Their intention was to make sure that they looked similar to some of the newer product in the area. These homes will be 2-story and approximately 2,800 square feet minimum. And each home will include a 2-car front entry garage and will be constructed with primarily brick and stone. And there will be some cement siding for accents. I'll go back to Going back to the site plan, I just want to touch on the waiver requests. First, waiver would be to waive the requirement for sidewalks along the abutting external street, so that would be Harmony Grove. We were originally looking to waive the requirement along the entire frontage because there's no sidewalks to connect to in the area. I believe the closest sidewalks on Lawrenceville Highway to the north there. However, in our public meeting, the neighbors mentioned that the school bus picks up kids in the decel lanes for a lot of these subdivisions in the area. So we decided that we would add sidewalks where it's feasible. So now we have the sidewalks essentially coming from the floodplain all the way to the north corner of the property. And then we added a crosswalk with the intention of kids being able to hang out at the park at the frontage there, and then they could walk to the decel lane safely. However, crossing the stream with a sidewalk would be very difficult. It would require quite a bit of land disturbance in these areas. There just isn't enough shoulder there. There's an existing guardrail. It would probably require some sort of wall, and it would require a bit of land disturbance. Plus, it would just lead to a railroad track, so it really would lead to nowhere. The second waiver was to reduce the horizontal centerline road radius from 181 to 100 feet. That's just where it's curving in to the property here. In our conversations with DOT, of course, they wanted us to line up with Lost Grove there. So in order to do that, we just had to be a little bit tighter. However, in our conversations, they were okay with that. Lastly would be to waive the Stubb Street connection to Jennifer Lane. That's all the way back here. Of course, that's just not feasible with the stream. It would require a bit of disturbance in that area. Plus, the neighborhood was very happy to learn that there was not going to be a connection into our neighborhood. I'll end it there. We agree with all of Planning Commission's recommended conditions. If you have any questions for me, I'm happy to answer.
Questions?
This is a question for staff. Does Jennifer Lane have access that if they were to build a street, it could connect?
It's shown as an existing right-of-way, so it could be connected. It's just the fact that the topography, the stream buffers, there's wetlands, floodplain, it would be next to impossible to make that connection.
Gotcha. Thank you. And are there any trees that would be cut down on this plan and this zoning that couldn't be cut down under the existing zoning?
No.
Thank you. That's it.
Any other questions? All right. With that, I'll close out the public hearing for this case and ask for a motion.
Madam Chair, I move to approve REZ 2025-17 with the Planning Commission recommended conditions, adding condition 11, existing vegetation within any stream buffer on the site shall not be disturbed during development.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve this item with the Planning Commission recommending conditions with the added condition as noted by Commissioner Koo. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And that motion carries. Thank you very much. All right, that concludes the public hearing portion of the agenda. We will now move on to administrative new business, beginning with one item from our law department near the bottom of page 2. If you will read that item into the record.
County Attorney Michael Edwazak is here to present this item, 2025-814, approval authorization for the chairwoman to execute a resolution, a memorandum of understanding with the state of Georgia, and a subdivision participation and release form to participate in the National Purdue Settlement.
Good evening, Chairwoman and Commissioners.
Good evening.
As you know, Gwinnett County, along with the state of Georgia and many other state and local governments across the country, has engaged in federal multi-district court litigation seeking to hold opioid manufacturers and distributors accountable for the opioid crisis. In December of 21, you approved an agreement with the state of Georgia agreeing to participate in a national settlement, and that one was with several manufacturers, including Johnson & Johnson, Janssen Pharmaceuticals, and several distributors, including Cardinal Health and McKesson. In March and August of last year, you approved similar agreements to participate in national settlements, this time with other manufacturers and distributors that included Teva Pharmaceuticals, Allergan, Walmart, CVS, Walgreens, and Kroger. To date, the county has received close to $6 million in settlement funds, which will be used for opioid remediation and treatment. Earlier this year, Purdue Pharma, the leading manufacturer of OxyContin, filed its most recent Chapter 11 bankruptcy reorganization plan, and that plan proposed a $7.4 billion national opioid settlement. The proposed settlement would require the Sackler family, owners of Purdue Pharma, to contribute approximately $6.5 billion over the next 15 years, and they would contribute $1.5 billion immediately. Purdue Pharma would contribute all of its assets to the settlement, and that's expected to be about another $900 million, so a total of $7.4 billion. In place of Purdue Pharma, a new public benefit nonprofit company is going to be formed, and that's going to have as its core mission to abate the opioid crisis and improve public health. The Sackler family is going to have no role in that new company. All 50 states, including the state of Georgia, have already approved this proposed settlement, and now local governments such as Gwinnett have the option to participate. This latest memorandum of understanding with the state of Georgia is similar in all respects to the previous ones that you have approved. The proposed settlement positions the state of Georgia to receive up to $126 million. And although the county's portion has yet to be determined, participation in the settlement will surely result in more funds coming to the county to be used for opioid abatement and treatment. And staff recommends your approval of this agreement.
Questions? May I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, that motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Labuzak. All right, that brings us to our final item from Planning and Development.
Planning and Development Director Matt Dickinson is here to present this item, 2025-865, ratification of plat approvals for July 1st, 2025 through July 31st, 2025.
Good evening, Chairwoman and Commissioners.
Good evening.
For the month of July, the department approved 19 plats authorizing 771 new lots. We are seeking your approval for ratification purposes.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? And that motion carries. That brings us to the comments from the audience portion of our meeting. If anyone is here wishing to address the board on any topic, you may do so at this time. Please remember to state your name and address for the record, and you will have 3 minutes to speak, and our clerk will be keeping time. And at this time, the floor is open, and you may proceed forward if you have comments to address the board.
Hello, my name is Teresa Williams. I live at 1104 Washley Drive, Lilburn, Georgia 30047. I live in the Washley subdivision where the new gas station is being built at 1077 Killeen Hill Road. Chairwoman Hendrickson, I wanted to come in person again and thank you from all of us, our neighbors, our neighborhood, for setting up the meeting with the owner, the county, that happened yesterday. We had no idea what to expect out of that meeting, and we left feeling very optimistic and hopeful. I would also like to thank all of the county employees. I have called, I have emailed, I have planning meetings. Everyone has gone above and beyond teaching us and me UDO, open records, traffic analysis, traffic studies, the water department, easements. I mean, I could go on and on. And everyone has gone above and beyond, and they've been so kind, and it is a true testament to your leadership. And I just can't thank you enough. When I got home from the meeting yesterday and I sent the email out, and we just did a real short and sweet one, just saying, come on, guys, we might get some stuff. Also wanted to tell you that your self-reporting portal works very well. I reported about our speed limit signs and stuff were so dirty you couldn't see. And gentleman Jay called, and today we got all new street signs put in. So that works real well. But thank you again.
You're welcome, Ms. Williams. Good to see you again. Thank you. Anyone else wishing to address the board?
Good evening, commissioners. My name is Joel Joshua, and I'm a resident of the county. I live in unincorporated Lawrenceville. First, I want to thank you for the opportunity to make this short comment, and I want to appreciate you all for the very good work you're doing in the county. It's one thing to inherit a solid foundation, and it's another thing to build on it and make it better. So thank you all for the awesome work you're doing. I'm standing here tonight because I want to implore you all to consider installing traffic lights at the intersection between Club Drive and Sweetwater Club Drive Road. I have a printout of the maps here, and after I'm done speaking, I'll share it with you all. I believe Commissioner Kirkland Cardin is in charge of that part. Yeah, so and I'm asking for this I've lived on that road for about a year now and making the request for the following reasons. Number one, around the subject intersection that I'm asking you all to consider, however that process goes in installing that traffic light, there are a number of apartment complexes around there, and I've personally witnessed situations where pedestrians cross the road in very dangerous fashion. The part of Club Drive from Pleasant Hill is a 4-lane road, and it's even worse when you see folks trying to cross the road at night with dark clothing. It makes it difficult for oncoming drivers like me to see them when they're crossing. I've seen a few cases too where you have teenagers crossing because that part of the road has a lot of apartment complexes around it. And so you have a lot of families with school-going children who are constantly crossing that road. And I believe traffic lights would improve safety for road users and for pedestrians as well on that road. The second reason is that vehicular traffic coming from Sweetwater Club Drive Road and traveling south of Club Drive, so not traveling towards Pleasant Hill now, but traveling on Club Drive, can experience a difficult time getting on Club Drive when you're coming from Sweetwater Club Road, because that road is really busy. Folks are coming from work. It's difficult to get on the road. It's funny, but I was telling my wife I was coming to present this, and I was telling her what I was coming to present. And she said, that road, yeah? I just got up that road this evening, and it was really difficult for me. So due to this reason, the difficulty of getting on Club Drive from that road because of how busy Club Drive is, I've seen cases where drivers drive dangerously to get onto Club Drive before oncoming traffic catches up with them. I would end this by saying that I'm not an engineer, but I'm only making a suggestion within my level of knowledge and competence. I believe the county has expert hands that can take a look at this better. And yeah, I'm just going to share the maps that show that intersection.
And you can give it to our clerk, Mr. Joshua. And I will also have one of our assistant county administrators who is sitting in the back to also touch base with you as well before you leave, so that we can make sure we get your contact information and get the exact site, so we can request a traffic study in that area and have one of our staff follow up. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Lewis or Srinivasan, please. Thank you. Anyone else wishing to address the board on any topic? All right. As I see no one else making their way down, if there are no further comments, this concludes our meeting for August 26, 2025. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to adjourn. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, we are officially adjourned. I thank you all for joining us today, both in person and virtually, and you have a great evening and a great Labor Day holiday.